Welcome back to On the Curb. This is our Friday soapbox session, and today's episode is a good one. We're talking downtown Nashville, high-rise luxury, and one of the hottest projects in the city right now, the Edition. Joining me is Charlotte Flowers, a total pro in the new development space and team member behind sales at the Edition. In today's episode, we cover the Edition brand and what it looks like to own a residence in a five-star hotel, who's buying luxury in Nashville right now, how the Edition stacks up against other brands like the Four Seasons or Ritz, the little miracles it takes to see a project come to fruition, and what's coming next for downtown real estate. If you've been watching the Nashville skyline change and want to peek inside, this one's for you. I hope you enjoy my conversation with Charlotte Flowers.
So I'm going to go at 3.
You're going to go at 3?
Tomato
cookies.
Yeah.
Tomato cookies? Oh, that's fun. What does a tomato cookie taste like?
No, it just has a tomato.
Oh. It's like, is it made of tomatoes?
It's like a sugar cookie.
Oh, with a tomato like stamp on it. I was like that is
cookie.
wild. A tomato cookie. All right. Well, welcome to the show, Charlotte Flowers. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Charlotte works for Corcoran Reverie, but she is representing the Edition, which is a brand new condo complex, luxury condo. Downtown.
Luxury residences.
So
the residence at the Nashville Edition.
Love it. So for those of people that don't know anything about the Edition, they don't know what the brand is, they don't know even where this building is. If you had to pitch it for like a minute or two, how would you kind of explain what's happening downtown?
Yeah. So I think it's really exciting. Our biggest goal right now is educating the Nashville market on the Edition brand. So in the United States, there's only a West Hollywood. There's 2 in New York. They don't have residences. And then there's a Miami and a Tampa location. And then they're all over Asia and Europe. So not a ton of people in Nashville are familiar with the brand. So it's been about like educating Nashville. So the Edition brand is a 5-star hotel. It is sophisticated luxury. They say like seductive, elegant. So it's very high end, but it's not stuffy.
Yeah.
So it was created with Marriott. Marriott owns Edition. And then Ian Schrager created Marriott with them. And he's the guy who did Studio 54. So it gives you kind of that vibe of the Edition. So kind of all different ages. You know, a lot of people that are coming in are either, and this is just kind of to keep going on who's coming in.
Yeah.
A lot of people from Nashville, but then we're getting a lot of Edition enthusiasts. So there are people who just only want to stay at the Edition throughout the world, and they're finding out that it's coming to Nashville, so they're calling us like, oh, we always stay at the Edition. We love the Edition. We heard it's coming to Nashville. We think Nashville's so cool. It's kind of the next big thing. And then they're interested in purchasing a residence there. So we've had a lot of people that aren't familiar with the brand, so that's kind of our biggest takeaway right now is teaching people about the brand. And I wasn't familiar either.
Yeah.
Have you been to an Edition?
No, this is the first time when I came out to check out the Nashville one. You guys have a gallery downtown.
Yes. So we're in the Gulch.
Yep.
We're on kind of the north side of the Gulch. So our location is great because you're not in all the touristy kind of section of the Gulch. You have like a more residential feel. So we're right by Penn's Mechanical. So the site, it's wrapped. So if you drive over there, you'll be able to see exactly where it's going.
Right by those big like Ashurian stairs.
Yep.
The night we met is right there. The club.
Choi, who just closed.
Choi, yes. Chris was here last week. He said that was his favorite glass of wine.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I've been there a couple times. I have like a best guy friend that loves that place. It's incredible. So we're sad to see it go.
Yeah, definitely. So why Nashville? Like, did you get any insight on why the developers were like New York, LA, Miami, Nashville?
Yeah. Well, I think that's what everybody's asking.
Yeah.
So we're seeing that across the board, not just with real estate, but like restaurants. Like I lived in New York City, and I remember when I moved back to Nashville, it was like every one-off is coming to Nashville. So it's like my favorite pizza place in New York, Roberta's in Brooklyn. It was like their one-off is in Nashville. And so you're finding all these amazing restaurants and stuff who have locations, some in like LA and Miami. But some are just picking their second location in Nashville because we're bringing so many people are moving here. Still, I don't know if you're seeing that a lot of your clients are still traveling to Nashville, but I think we're getting I mean, just the amount of new stuff we're getting, the new stadium, all the new huge developments that are coming here, headquarters of companies coming here. I think they just see that growth and, they want to be a part of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we're bringing luxury to Nashville. So historically, like if you're on Broadway and people are coming to stay at a hotel in Nashville, the only other luxury branded residence that we have in Nashville is the Four Seasons.
Right.
So we'll be the second one coming. And it's a different brand. Obviously, there's so many other rumors coming to Nashville of all the other developments, but I think they're seeing like Nashville has the clientele, like the people are all coming here and we have the market for it. So let's give it. We're like, I think the last people to get all of those.
Yeah. So going back to kind of the Edition for those that don't know, how would you compare it to like, let's say a Four Seasons or the Ritz that they've been talking about? How would you kind of compare it with the Edition?
It's like more of an edgier vibe. So it's minimal and sophisticated, but it's not sterile. Most of them have like a nightclub in them. They have always a really amazing restaurant. Like after the Met, the Edition in New York had the after party and like Kim Kardashian, all those people were there.
Wow.
So it's a kind of an edgier vibe. Obviously, Four Seasons is well known by everybody. So it's just a more kind of niche brand, I think. So we're just trying to get as much recognition to it as we can here.
Okay. And as far as like the buyers go, the typical buyer, obviously you said people that are familiar with the Edition brand rebuying. What are some of the other like buyers that you've been seeing kind of circling? Because obviously we're really new. So it's not, when's it supposed to be done?
So we're going to be breaking ground by the end of the year, targeting fall. And then we'll be delivering into 2027, early 2028.
Okay. So what buyers are coming in right now? Because we were talking about this with Chris last week as well, who's doing condo. Obviously, he's doing Pullman, so it's a completely different price point, completely different everything. But he's kind of talking about how getting in early is difficult for some buyers because they can't see it, which is kind of why you guys built this showroom downtown.
Yeah, right.
But what kind of buyers are you seeing right now that are really circling?
So lots of calls from Edition enthusiasts who heard about it that aren't necessarily here. But the people that we're having come in are all local, which I found really interesting. A lot of people from the Four Seasons coming over, a lot of people from Broad West. You're also seeing a lot of grandparent type of people who have children or family in Nashville that maybe they own several homes and this is their third, fourth property and they just want to be close to their family. The cool thing about the Edition, it's very like lock and leave lifestyle. So 5-star amenities, you have a 24/7 concierge, 24/7 valet, you're not parking your own car. So it's very easy for someone to come in who has family here and just be able to lock and leave. The concierge could come stock their fridge. Hey, I'm coming into town. Can you stock my fridge? Things like that. So we're seeing all different levels of ages, but a lot of them are people who have family members in Nashville. A lot of people who maybe live further out, like think Troubadour or out in College Grove, something like that want to have a place downtown in the city. A lot of these properties for people will be second, third, fourth homes. So if they want a place downtown to go to the Bridgestone or the new Titan Stadium and be able to have, that for them. And it's been interesting. We have a lot of people who come in whose kids are going to go to Franklin, who are going to go to Vanderbilt or Belmont.
Wow.
And they want a place here that they can come and stay with them. And the last person buyer just came in and they own several branded residences like in Snowmass and all these places. And their daughter was thinking about going to Belmont. So they were like, we'll use this, about a month out of the year to visit their daughter.
And what price point are we talking about at the Edition?
Yeah, so we start at about 1.62 for a 1-bedroom. And then we go up to a 3-bedroom, which a 3-bedroom and a flex. And then we cap at about 5. So it's about 1.6 to 5. And then we have 2 penthouses.
Okay. And the penthouses are how much?
I'm not going to say.
Okay. Fair enough.
They could change.
Sure.
So the way that the building's kind of laid out, so we have a 1-bedroom. Our 1-bedrooms are all right under 1,300 square feet.
Okay.
So they're really big. Every unit has a powder room. Every unit has a laundry room, which is super rare in the condo world. You're not having stackables. You're not opening closets. So it's not going to feel like an apartment. It's going to feel like a house. You know, our biggest unit is 2383 square feet. And then our penthouses are 4,500 and 5,500 square feet.
Wow.
So they're like homes.
Right.
You know?
They're just homes in the sky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then this is kind of like a little secret. We're trying to decide. We might be combining a couple units to make unique units for people. A lot of people want something different in those buildings. So we had 2 units that had these giant terraces. And those, you know, go really quickly because people want a unique unit. So we're talking about combining a couple units to make larger ones. So that's
so that
exciting.
the floor plans are a little bit different,
Yeah.
or okay.
So we'll have just a few of those, and you know, that kind of buyer wants to have a unique property in there.
So when you see all the renderings, you know, obviously you're on the sales team, so you're very familiar with the product.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, if you were a buyer in that situation?
Yeah.
What do you think it is about the Edition where you're like, I am in?
Right. So I think our location is really great. Branded residences are all rumored to come. I love that we're in the Gulch, so you're not on Broadway. You're not getting all of that traffic, and you really are able to like utilize everything downtown. We're right by Nashville Yards, that whole amazing development, but you're not like in the heart of things in terms of like tourism. But then you're buying into the brand, right? And then, you know, you're paying for white glove level service, so 5-star hotel service, all of the hotel amenities, and then you have private resident amenities as well. So it's next level. So we're going to be offering like in-residence dining, in-residence spa treatments. There's housekeeping, personal trainer, 24/7 concierge, like I said. So they can do anything from like hire a babysitter or a dog walker or stock your fridge if you're coming into town. So you're paying for that. And then you're really just buying into the brand in terms of the one thing that everybody loves and I think is so great about our sales gallery is you can really envision what the building's going to look like.
Yeah.
So we have the fully built out sales gallery with a building model. So when you haven't broken ground yet, you really need something to be able to sell the building and really showcase people so that there's no like doubts about what it's going to look like and they feel secure, you know, putting in a larger deposit, you know, with the building not being completed yet.
Right.
So it's been really important.
So how do you guys view, obviously you guys are at a stage where the Edition's happening.
Mm-hmm.
We have the plot picked out, like we're breaking ground here shortly. How do you compare that with, you know, we see rumors all the time where it's like the Ritz is coming.
Yeah.
That was 2 years ago. We don't really know. How are you guys looking at it as far as like, there's definite competitors where it's like the Emery Four Seasons, but then there's like some we don't even know about.
Right.
Like, how are you guys viewing that?
So, you know, the great thing about us is we have this really amazing sales gallery built out. We are at contract. There's no reservation period. We are like ready, full steam ahead. And so when we bring buyers in, they're really kind of ready to go. The other branded residents that are all coming, which we're excited about as an agent, I'm very excited about. I found that, you know, I was talking to the architect who's doing our project over at ESA. They're local to Nashville. And he made a good point. He was like, to get a development done, it's a series of like 100 little miracles to happen. And things change hands all the time, funding, the actual plot, plans with the city, fighting over all kinds of things. So we've been hearing about things coming for a long time. And you just really don't know. Lots of news articles blast things out and everybody just reads the headlines. We were just talking about this. Yeah. You read the headlines and you're like, oh, Equinox is coming. But when you dig a little further, you know, that you don't know when. It could maybe in 10 years from now, or there's still a lot of hoops to jump through when they tease these things. Now, Pendry is breaking ground. They are located near us. They're right by like Federales, behind the Bill Voorhees building. So they're coming. They've already broken ground. So I would say those are the two that are really happening right now. Of course, Ritz is coming. St. Regis is coming. Timelines are just always unsure.
Yeah.
These things just take a lot of time to get through the city and to get through planning and to work with the architects. And then, you know, with the brand as well, making sure that they're on board. So I think our edge is that we're rocking and rolling and we're happening and we're taking contracts. And I think one thing that we're overcoming is when buyers hear, oh, Pendry, St. Regis, Equinox, Ritz, they're like, well, we want to see how everything shakes out, right? But what I was just saying is a lot of, like, Ritz was supposed to come 2 years ago.
Right.
Or Paramount was supposed to finish a couple years ago.
Right.
Things like that.
Yeah.
So I just tell them, you got to look at what you have now. And then, like Chris was saying earlier, like getting into a building like this on the front end, prices just continue to increase on any development. As things go under contract, the developer usually raises prices. Yeah. So you have an edge to be one of the first people in.
How have you seen like the other Edition properties grow as far as from, when they were initially built to what they're selling for today, as far as an investment?
So the only other residents we have are in West Hollywood and Miami. So this is the biggest residence they've ever done. I want to say, and you'll have to fact check me, that there's only like 14 in West Hollywood. So we have 84 units. So it's the biggest project that they've done. But when you're with a brand like that, they just hold, the brand holds it steady, right? Because you have brand standards throughout that keep it like, trying to think, losing my train. Keep it high level, right? So like a development.
They're not cutting corners or anything.
Right.
Like
and
that,
in other developments, maybe the HOA kind of slacks a little bit, and then the owners' lounges are not looking great, and the building kind of starts to go a little bit downhill. You don't really see that in like a branded residence. Yeah,
that makes sense. So just shifting gears. So we have the Edition, obviously. If you're looking at Nashville market as a whole, how do you feel about the Nashville market in general?
Yeah. So I think we've seen, you and I especially, I mean, with COVID and everything, just the boom that we had, and then just getting back to reality, it wasn't really a slowdown. It was just normalization.
Yeah.
So we're just getting back to normalizing things, and obviously interest rates are a little bit higher. We're definitely in a buyer's market in terms of like the resale residential market, where buyers have a lot of power right now. And I think that's mostly because of interest rates. So we'll see how that shakes out. But I think in terms of everything coming here, especially downtown, like Oracle, the new stadium, East Bank, Nashville's just going to continue to grow and bring more people in. And I think the market, with headlines and the real estate markets down, things like that, it just varies city by city. You can't really generalize real estate as a whole, and even neighborhood to neighborhood. Like, as you know, some things fly off in certain neighborhoods, and some are sitting a little bit longer.
Yeah, I mean, I do think it's really important that when you see the national headlines and you're like, there are X amount of buyers for every seller. Everything is really by neighborhood, like you said, especially in Nashville. I mean, what's selling in East Nashville and how quickly things are is so much different than what's selling in Creve Hall or what's selling in the Nations. I mean, like, if you look at all the different, especially downtown, if you look at all the different ones, it's like the time to close is different. The amount of concessions you get can be different, which is why it's like so important to not only, understand the intricacies of each neighborhood, but also work with somebody who's in it.
Yeah, not just like reading the headlines, like we said, just like, oh, the market's down and it's a buyer's market. So people are like, well, should I sell right now? It's like, it's all depending on your situation. So just maybe reading the article. We always talk about that.
Yeah.
You see the headline and you don't read the article.
Right. You just immediately repost it.
Yeah. You're like, oh, that was a great phrase.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, something's news coming and it's not actually happening.
Yeah, definitely. Are there any other like big things that you're excited about as far as the Edition side, or are there any big hurdles that you feel like you have to get through before we kind of get through the other side?
So, I mean, we haven't broken ground, so that's really important. I think once you break ground, you get a little bit of urgency and build up, and people are like, oh, this is really happening. Because, people can say things are happening all, I know it is, but, maybe they've seen another project where the salesperson told them it was happening and it still didn't. So we're really excited to break ground. And then obviously we have a really beautiful sales gallery. So we're just really wanting to utilize that space and host events there and just make people aware not only of the brand, but where we are, what we're going to be. And it's just been such a cool thing to be a part of. Like, it's such an A-team who is working on it, from the developer, title. They are just a really seasoned developer, and they take feedback really great. So for instance, we had sauna and a steam room, and we were getting buyers in, and they were like, I really want a cold plunge. We really like cold plunging. And we were talking to the developer. We kind of like tell them feedback, and they were like, great, change it to cold plunge. Like, get rid of the steam room, which has been just, it tells you that they trust the Nashville market and they want to make people happy here. Mm-hmm. So we just changed that to a cold plunge, so everybody's very happy.
Yeah.
But the building itself is just going to be incredible. I feel like I'm going to be like showing up there like it's mine.
Yeah. Like, did you negotiate in living there yet?
I know. I've told Michael that we knew this guy who was selling a branded residence in Miami, and he convinced the developer to live in one. So, you never know. I might try. I could see myself living downtown. Now, I've like convinced myself, that that's the spot for me because I'm pitching it to other people.
Right.
But yeah, I think the development is really next level, and it's cool to be on the forefront of it and just getting out there. And no other branded developments have a sales gallery yet or anything. So that's giving us the edge. And then, they brought on, like I said, an amazing team. So Title, the developer, and then Corcoran Sunshine is the marketing and development arm of Corcoran out of New York. And they've done almost every high-end residential building in New York. And so they know, how to showcase the building the best. And so they've been a great partnership. And then we have, the PR team, another marketing team, Corcoran Reverie for sales. And so my job is just to sell the building, which has been great. Yeah. A lot of times, real estate teams have to learn, like, market it and do all of that stuff. And I think it's great that we've just hired out the best people to do that. And then my job is to just sell the building.
Yeah.
So that's what I know how to do best. I'm not a marketing person.
Sure.
So they were like, yeah, y'all know how to sell, so you just sell.
Yeah. So if people are interested, how do they schedule a tour with the gallery, or what does the process typically look like?
So our tours are just appointment only. So we have like a info@Nashville Edition residence email, or you can email me directly, and we'll set up a tour for you. Obviously, they're tailored to, what the client is. So if someone's not from Nashville, we have this really cool like interactive map that we can show them around Nashville, really tell them about the Gulch. And so every presentation is kind of tailored to the client. So we will get you in to the sales gallery, give you a presentation, and then, love to bring people back for a second time or come to any events that we're hosting and really get a good feel for the product.
Wow, that's cool. It just made me think of Sam Gray, who was on our podcast a couple months ago. We just closed a deal for a client, and her husband is a helicopter pilot.
Okay.
And he's getting his private helicopter license. And he was like, he's like a real country guy from Alabama. He's like, yeah, man, if you have any clients that aren't from here and want to get a helicopter tour around. And Sam was like, oh my gosh, that's perfect. So like they don't know Middle Tennessee, and he's like, let's just helicopter them around.
I'll have to connect with him.
They're like, there's Spring Hill down there. Yeah. Then you have everything west. We don't have
a helicopter pad.
There's no.
I know
There's no helicopter on the roof or anything.
No helicopter pad, but I could talk to the developer, like I said.
Sure. Cold plunge helicopter pad. We need both of those.
People have been really saying they need somewhere to park their helicopter.
But I was like, that is truly genius for high end clients who are like, they want to go see Troubadour, but also want to go see the Edition.
Gosh.
Well, I would just fly around.
Yeah. All right. Well, maybe that's another business
that
we start just for real estate tours.
Yeah.
And then if you're viewing a big piece of land too.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you want to get on it, but you also want to see over it.
Yeah, exactly. And like you don't have to deal with traffic or anything. You just take off. So are you doing like any marketing on Instagram, or like where can people find out more about the Edition outside of the sales gallery?
So we have a website, Nashville Edition Residences, and then we have an Instagram. I think it's Edition Nashville Residences. So they all kind of switch around. But if you look us up on Google, you'll find it.
Yeah.
And we've listed a few. We have our availability on the website, so you're able to see what we've released. We've just released, I think, 6 for right now.
Okay.
Kind of one of each floor plan, so everybody can see what we're offering. And then our Instagram as well. And then, Chris, the sales director, Chris Wilder, and I both post a lot about, what we're doing over there. But the best thing is to get in person. And we have a lot of people that call, and we'll send them. We have like a electronic flip book brochure, what you kind of similar to the book that you have. But you need to come in person. We can do a lot of really cool stuff in there, and, show views from every unit so that they can see if you're on the 17th floor and you want this condo, your exact view. We can light it up on the model. We can do all kinds of stuff to really help the buyer envision it. So I know.
What was the transition like? I know we have to wrap, but I'm curious, what was the transition like going from, doing typical residential resales to condo
It's been
life?
great. It's been really cool just to be a part of this, because they were building out the sales gallery when I got brought onto it. Chris, the sales director, has been working on it for a really long time. So everyone always asks how long it took me to memorize everything. But, you're working on the project for so long that by the time you're ready to showcase it to clients, you already have all the context. So it's just about memorizing, numbers and things like that. But it's just next level. It really has been so fun to showcase a building like that and to be part of such an amazing brand. But yeah, it's been a learning curve for sure. It's very similar in terms of buying and selling, but different contracts, HOA, things like that are a lot more important. Also, the hotel aspect of things, and maybe you talk about some of the lending stuff on that.
Yeah.
But we are hotel on the bottom half, so 262 hotel rooms. It's divided by the shared amenity floor, and then we have 84 units on top. So the whole hotel aspect has been cool, and learning about the amenities in the brand.
Yeah. So my parting question for buyers that aren't buying at 1.6 or that high, are there any similarities between buyers at that price and buyers that are first-time buyers purchasing their first house? Do you see any similarities? Or obviously the main difference is, some people are a little bit less monthly payment conscious. But are there any similarities that you've found?
I would say that most of these buyers are very seasoned buyers. Unless their parents are helping them purchase, which we do see that. I talked to a girl who was a young professional, and her family was very familiar with the brand in Miami and wanted to help her purchase here. So, maybe from that aspect, but these people that have either, know of the residences, some of them have purchased or own in several branded residences. So they're pretty familiar with the process. Obviously, new development is a little bit different because we have a builder contract, and so that's a little bit, but you kind of hand it over to lawyers at that point. So the agent is kind of less explaining on the contract and things, and kind of pushing it more into the buyer's hands and the lawyer's hands to kind of handle all of those things.
Yeah.
Because it's a little bit more complicated.
Sure.
A lot longer purchase and sale agreement.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not a 30-day close.
Yeah. Not a 30-day close.
Yeah.
It's structured a little bit different, but it'll be exciting as the building gets built. I mean, hopefully we're pretty sold by then. I mean, the one other thing I want to mention that's great about the Edition is we only have 84 units, so there's a lot of exclusivity around the building. A lot of the buildings that are coming are between that 150 and 250 mark. So I love that we are smaller. Yeah. Quality is really important, and you also have really great floor plans, really big units. So that's something that when you have a ton, you kind of sacrifice on, space. Like I said, we have large units with storage and closets and the powder room and the laundry room. And so I love that we are a smaller amount of units. So as the building gets built, I hope we're, almost sold out by then, but it'll be fun to sell out of the building and be able to really showcase the amenities and everything that we have to offer.
Love it. Well, thanks for coming on. You can use promo code MFLending to get $50 off of your Edition purchase.
Yeah, we'll give you something. We'll throw in an Edition robe or
Yeah.
something. Edition candle. We have hats. Michael wears the
Yeah,
hat.
I wear the hat all the time, and now I got this coffee table book. So, but yeah, thanks for coming. I appreciate it, and we'll have you back on when you guys break ground or you're
Yes.
halfway through. We'll hear about updates on where we're at. But
Yeah, I loved it. This was so fun.
yeah, thanks.
Thanks for having me.
Love it.